Okay, we are here. I have Jimmy Doyle on the Steven Skinner podcast. How are you doing, Jimmy?
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing, Mr. Skinner?
Thank you so much. And again, having you on today, I was thinking about, I'm like, this is almost like more of a brother, more of a, as we say, partner in crime than having just a guest on. But I think a lot of people either have heard of you, they know you wear some different hats in our community. So I thought on today's podcast, let's dive in and let's break it into a few segments because I know the Jimmy Doyle growing up with, and then obviously getting to know the Jimmy Doyle and his family later in life through church functions, and then this new thing we want to talk about, which is what is Luv Handlz. But let's just start off for the listener's sake here. Who is Jimmy Doyle, the Doyle family, maybe just a little background history of your love and being here in Central New York?
Sure. Well, first, let me just address the elephant in the room. I'm a little disappointed. There's my bowl of green M&Ms was not present when I arrived, so I'm a little frustrated with that. But looking past that, you grew up here in Syracuse, and my parents moved here from Binghamton when I was real young, so all I really remember is Syracuse. Graduated high school here, so pretty much my entire life, and then went to college and went and traveled the country a few different spots before coming back and really planting some more roots here and feeling like this is the place where we're going to be for the rest of our lives.
That's awesome. Now, again, you have done a lot of, you've been church circles. So again, a lot of people know my family was Sacred Melody was in our family for over 60 years. And so obviously one of the ways we got to know each other was through Sacred Melody, both working there, and then your family was also very known for having this amazing puppet organization that literally, I think really probably did a lot of your roots within your creativity side. But then also, you were also at Apple. I think a lot of people might recognize you from, they call it the Genius Bar, right?
That's right.
So you were at Apple, what, a few years?
Almost 10. Almost made it to the 10-year mark. But there at Destiny Mall and started off as a door greeter way back in the day. That's all they let me do because I didn't really have much Apple experience. I just kind of fell in love with the product and the company and, became a door greeter. And then went into the sales, and then they came out with this position called expert, and applied for that, and was one of the first experts here in Central New York. And then they made me a genius, So if I have a big head, it's probably because Apple has given me some pretty audacious titles throughout over the years. But try coming home and telling your wife that you're an expert and a genius, and the balloon gets deflated pretty quickly.
Now, I know one of the things when it comes to Apple, you are a huge Apple fan. So again, for all our Android lovers out there, it's not going to get any love from Jimmy at all, and if you know that about him. But how many, I know one of the things that you've told me in the past is that you love, like, as you go to any city to visit for any reason at all, I think you like to stop in at these Apple stores. How many Apple stores have you been to throughout your journey?
Oh, man, I'm going to say probably close to 50. Because, like you said, anytime we visit someplace, we always check to see if there's an Apple store. But when they sent me to Genius Training out in Cupertino, I remember taking one day, taking our rental car, and I just drove all the way up and down the coast there, stopping at as many as I could. And I think in that one day, I probably hit like 25 different Apple stores because down there, they're a dime a dozen. But I've seen some beautiful ones, New York City stores. I love the mission of just being at that corner of culture and technology, and believe that really is how we all should look to live. Really in that corner hotspot of being in the corner of culture and technology.
So then if we fast forward, again, you had done a lot of things within the church world, then you did Apple, then you came back to Syracuse. And again, I know we could do a whole podcast just on your family. You have an amazing wife, Chaz, 4 beautiful girls. You live in Eastwood, and I think just like myself, we have a huge love for our community and our village there. So you literally were living in Lincourt, and literally that wasn't close enough for you, even though Lincourt's a great community. You're like, we want to be part right here of what's going on here in the Eastwood community. So out of all things, part of the church, you pastor at Church Forward Point. We work alongside each other, which is so awesome. But to sort of speed up through things, because through church and through the love of community, give us, again, this vision of what was transpiring, because this is really something that I think was birthed inside you, and I'm all behind it. But tell me about what happened in your life to make you think that this vision for Luv Handlz, and explain what it is and why it is, and let's get into the meat of the main thing.
Sure. Well, I went to Bible school, so that's the extent of my education is a Bible diploma, and out of that, I was a youth pastor for a few years, then a high school pastor for a few years, and then we moved back here to Syracuse, and we were in Lincourt. and that's when our paths crossed. We were looking for a house and wound up showing up to this place where there's a real estate sign that I don't know who it was, but it said Stephen Skinner down at the bottom of it, right? And I'm thinking, man, that's kind of funny. I know a Stephen Skinner. What would be the chances? And sure enough, we walk in, and there you are. One of these houses that you were trying to sell, and unfortunately, you didn't stick with you. You're not very good at it, but it's been fun over the time. And so you helped us buy our house in Lyncourt, and then we just were looking for a place to do church and be around people who had same values. And you invited us to come along in this project of Forward Point, and we just loved what we saw with your real estate company and the video and your heart for the community, which I think was kind of falling in line with our disgruntledness with kind of American church culture, kind of everything that I was led to work for and strive for.
Yep.
And it seemed like that was more acting like the church than just even being in the building. So we were like, sign us up. We're with you, man. We'll do whatever you're going to do. I was working for Apple at the time, and then we started this thing where I was working part-time for Apple and part-time for the church. And then just a few years ago, was able to leave Apple to come work at Forward Point full-time.
That's right.
And once we had the full-time hours, unfortunately, it gives us opportunity to start to wonder and daydream and what are some other trouble
Vision
that we
planning.
we can get into. And we said, what would it look like to have some kind of community center in Eastwood? Because I think there was a huge need that people were asking for, something for the kids to do, some place to go. And we said, well, how can we meet this need? We don't have our own building. We don't have this place that we have consumed a bunch of resources to maintain. So let's see how we can invest it in the community. And during my time at Apple, I became friends with some people who ran the frozen yogurt shop there.
That's right.
And just kind of I would go on walks and became friends with them, and they would give me frozen yogurt. And we heard that they were going to be retiring and moving out west. And I said, I love frozen yogurt. Who doesn't like frozen yogurt? Let's open a frozen yogurt shop. Because growing up, I'd listened to this radio program. It's still going on. It's the longest running radio program in history, Adventures in Odyssey, and it was based around Mr. Whitaker, who owned this ice cream shop, Wits End, and it was just a place where community happened. Kids would come in, ask questions, talk about their problems, and that was kind of the vision for, like, we could have our own Wits End, right? What would that look like? So we started pursuing this equipment that they were trying to sell, and we kind of got to this place of no return, where we said, all right, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And we started making plans. There was a building that opened up just a block from where we gather on Sunday mornings, and an old Subway building, and still probably smells like Subway in some.
It took a long time.
spots.
I go in there now and I'm like, I don't smell too much of that bread. If anyone who knows Subway, man, that bread is in there for life. So
It seeps into the walls,
Exactly.
real deep. So we opened up Luv Handlz.
It's been how long now? Maybe a year and a half.
Just
year?
over a year.
Little
So
over a year.
July was a year. So we're knocking on what is that? 14 months.
15, 16 months now.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. That's so. And now again, I totally know Adventures in Odyssey. I grew up on it as well, and it's awesome how community transpires. And obviously, anytime you have a personal vision, sometimes there's little offshoots of that. So. Totally agree. If anyone has not gone into Luv Handlz, they really have to check it out. What would be their experience coming in there? Like, what sets apart? I know for people who don't know about frozen yogurt, it's not the same as going to like a hard ice cream place. It would be similar to maybe locally what we'd call maybe Sweet Frog, but it is different. And so, what would be an experience of someone coming into Luv Handlz?
So it's a self-serve, pay by the weight type model, and it's interesting because. Even if you had come to Luv Handlz when we first opened, it looks a lot different today than it did then. Really, because we've had this vision of how do we create community and live in this intersection. So as a result of that, it's always changed and allowed us to morph and do different things. So, the bread and butter of frozen yogurt machines, there's 6 machines, each with 2 flavors, where you can pick your frozen yogurt as much as you want. add as much toppings as you want. We have about 60
Yeah, I was gonna say 50 to
plus
100.
toppings that you can get on there. But we also have some frozen drinks like frappuccinos. We have some smoothies. We do milkshakes out of our frozen yogurt. And, that's where it all started as a way to try
Right.
to pay for the bills. But then what we were very intentional is to create community on all the tables. We started off right from the beginning. We had little games. We had checkers and we had Connect Four, and there's chess available there. But then we had this big space in the back where we knew that we wanted people to be able to use it for birthday parties or bar
Sure.
mitzvahs or
Yeah,
whatever kind of
anything.
need you would have.
Yep.
The community could have a place to come and reserve, and it would be affordable. And I think it was you one day just kind of made an offhand comment about it being cool to have an arcade back there, right? And I don't even know if you fully thought it would be what we have today.
It's insane.
But now if you go there today, we have about 15, 16 arcade games that are all free play. There's LED lights, and there's it really feels like an old school
It's a
arcade room.
it's a kids and teens dream. It's a dream going back there.
Yeah, so there's always
Yeah.
people now back there playing, and we have a TV back there, and we try to have a movie playing for people. So really, just again, a place for people to not just come and kind of fast food, get your food and leave, but we want people to stick around. We want it to be a date night. We want it to be a family outing. We think all the time as a family of 6, where can we go that's going to be fun and that the kids are going to be having a good time and it's interactive. There's places, a couple hours drive away. You might have like
correct.
Rainforest Cafe or just
Yeah.
these different places that are experience.
Yep.
And we really feel like Luv Handlz has become an experience here in the community. And I can say, since this comes out a week from now, we have in a couple of days, we're going to be adding to our menu a big announcement. We're going to be
yeah.
having bubble tea and lemonades and regular teas
And
as
it's,
well.
and it's partial like a robotic machine. I think it's first in the area, right?
Yeah, first in the area.
First in the
to be
area.
able
One of the first in New York, but first in the area. This new machine. So you're all about.
Well, when we
Technology.
were wanting Luv Handlz, the heart behind Luv Handlz is whenever you are checking out, we match the tax, Luv
Yep.
Handlz, and we give it to a local organization. There's a list of charities for the month that you can choose from. And so each time you're using a handle on the frozen yogurt machine and one of the toppings,
Yes.
you are loving on the community, right?
Yes.
So that's where Luv Handlz comes from. And we from the get-go, we wanted bubble tea to be a part of it, but we quickly realized we didn't know enough about bubble tea or frozen yogurt that we should probably just focus on being good at one. And now we have this opportunity to start to be good at the second area. And we're really looking forward to it. Whenever you hear this, come out and try some new bubble tea.
I think when I think of Luv Handlz, I think it is just the epitome of a family place, family fun, and I think you even said it best, all ages. Because again, arcades are great. Arcades tend to lean younger, though. Again, even at our age now, the nostalgia of playing at these arcades. I think a lot of people in Eastwood remember Buttons Arcade. I don't know if it's my brother or someone said he either in a wall or cleaning out a ductwork at a house found a Buttons Arcade token, and so they was just reminding of our growing up, and to see a room like that where not to mention everything pretty much was a quarter back then or more. This is completely free, and some of these arcade games, I mean, I think I have 50 to 100 games on them. So basically, you have limitless game ability back there, having fun. But again, you can bring in your parents, your grandparents. You have Connect Four, life-size Connect Four. I think even if I remember correctly, cornhole outside. You do a little cornhole.
Yeah, when the
on
weather's nice, we bring cornhole and Connect Four outside.
Yeah, so you just have a lot of fun. The giving side, I think, again, your heart to give, it's not only the goal of just Forward Point, but on top of that, just as giving back to community. Explain to us, what that looks like. So it's 3 to 4 organizations. You said it's 8% match. Plus, I think people also, don't they donate as well? People can give more?
So we wanted it to be a team effort. So we were going to kind of lead the way. Hey, we're going to match the tax. Which organization do you want it to go to? And we wanted to have multiple options because, not everybody thinks the same. So if we just limited it to one and maybe for whatever reason the customer did not like that particular organization, maybe they would be less inclined to round up, because we give everybody the option to round up to the nearest dollar for that organization that they choose. So there's a list of 4. We match the tax, and then we say, would you like to round up to the nearest dollar for them? And I say probably 95% of the people round up to the nearest dollar. And there's some fun stuff that happens if people do that. I don't know if we should, reveal that or let people experience
maybe,
it.
yeah,
But
maybe just tell people to go try it sometime and
yeah,
you'll see what happens. It's fun.
yeah, there's quite a cool thing that happens if you choose to round up to the nearest dollar. And as a result of our match, and as the customers rounding up to the nearest dollar, here we are just over a year, and we're up to around $15,000.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
it seems like it almost, when I hear the numbers, it's almost $1,000 a month.
yeah.
And so, I mean, it's an amazing thing. I think it's very unique. So when people are going to Luv Handlz, they're not just, again, helping a small business, because it is a small business. You have full-time staff there. Sonia there, she's like the director of Luv Handlz now there, and you still oversee her. But on top of it, it's a lot of volunteer, a lot of labor of love, and so it's someone going there. They're giving back to us, but in turn, you're pouring back into others, which is so critical. But I agree with you. I think anyone who goes there, it is a family atmosphere. It is super fun. It is different. And for kids, you're open 5 days a week right now?
Open 5 days a week. Yeah, I think we're going to try to shoot for spring to go 7 days a week.
That's
If
awesome.
the trajectory continues where we're growing, we'd love to go 7 days a week. But currently, we're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. We open up at 3 and are going to stay open late till about 10 for late night snacks
right.
and drinks and
There's
whatnot.
Wi-Fi available. So again, the vision was, I think you've mentioned before to me, that even for kids to do homework after school, or just have a place to meet up with friends, a safe zone, to have it be something where when parents know your kids are there, okay, they're in a good spot. They're even having fun or they're enjoying themselves. And also, if anyone wants to try it out, even though I hear it's pretty busy on Wednesdays, share a little bit about this thing called Weightless Wednesday.
Yeah, so on Wednesdays, we want to make froyo accessible to everyone. I think, frozen yogurt is a premium dessert. But what we did on Wednesday is we said we're going to have a 12-ounce cup that we're going to make weightless. So it's just $5, and you can put as much or as little in it that you want, and we're not going to bother with weighing it. It's just $5 flat, and we go through a lot of frozen yogurt every Wednesday.
You think it's a pretty cheap date night for even a family of 4. You can go out for a little over $20 and play video games, have a great time, and load up a cup. Probably more calories than anyone needs, but definitely what people want. What, again, as we sort of get toward wrapping up here, what is some of either the vision that go 7 days a week? What's also, just over the next year, what do you envision when you start thinking about Luv Handlz, where the directions you're going there? And even coming into the winter months, explain, when people think of sometimes frozen yogurt, they think, do they close up? How are you going to adjust even for winter months and things like that?
Yeah, so hopefully 7 days a week in the spring. Right now, our goal is to really get off the ground. Is we want to do something called study hours, where there's a couple hours right after school where kids come to do their homework, and we're gonna have tutors available, and they'll get a couple of dollars off anything that they order there, because we want to really encourage studying and getting good grades, and we'll have rewards for report cards and that kind of stuff. We do a lot of events, so we have like character meet and greets that you can come, and we've had Spider-Man was there, and we've had the Frozen sisters were there, so we try to create different events for that. But then in this space, it's available for birthday parties, so you can rent it. So a lot of times over the winter, people don't have a place to go and celebrate their birthday, and we're recognizing that this is becoming a need, and we're going to make it available for that. And we are open all year round, so we don't worry about closing. We feel like frozen yogurt should be experienced and enjoyed all year round, and we're going to stick to that.
That's awesome. So yeah, people can, and you might have a reasonable fee where people can purchase or either do a room rental or even rent the entire facility. You have a rate sheet for that.
Yeah.
So if people want to get in touch with you on that, or go to give me Facebook, website too.
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram. We're working on the website, but Facebook and Instagram is the easiest way. You can see all the creations. We have a huge secret menu of just different items that we've create as we're experimenting. So go and see something on there. I'm sure you'll fall in love with, even though it's not on the menu. We can make it for you, because we're always creating new things.
Well, and again, people love bubble tea, and so bubble tea. Again, I know this probably comes out in a week, but are we talking within a week or two? You're going to have bubble tea going?
We should have it available on Wednesday, but we're not going to announce it until Thursday, because Wednesday's Weightless Wednesday. So we don't want to, get it too crazy on our first day. There's going to be a lot of people there, and we want to make sure we have a good grasp on how to do it. And so we'll wait till Thursday to announce it. But definitely, once this podcast is out, it'll be available.
Well, again, I appreciate your heart. I appreciate your family. Again, you're not only just, like I said, a partner, but also a brother to me. And I think the last thing I would probably just share as far as when it comes to Luv Handlz is that, because again, you get social media and people talking that it is a place where anyone can go to, correct? Anyone can go to, again, faith, demographics, kids, ages. People always wonder if it's a certain group, but it's for anyone, correct?
Yeah, it's for anyone. We've had birthday parties for kids. We've had adults. A 40-year-old male had his birthday party back there. We had a surprise meet and greet for a local organization yesterday that was there. The surprise guerrilla organization, which was for the LGBTQ plus
awesome.
group. So yeah, the goal is to love on everyone and to provide a space for everyone.
That's
And
great. Well,
that's our heart.
again, congratulations on it, continued success, and wish you the absolute best. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
That's great.